Here's why you fought all the time with your ex, and here's how to make sure that it won't happen again when you get them back. So at the end of the day, we all have trauma from the past, and we also have a fear that we're going to be re-traumatized or taken advantage of in some way or manipulated, into being traumatized again. And so throughout the course of being in a relationship with somebody, these little fears get triggered in a certain way because maybe you catch like an ounce of behavior that maybe your ex exhibited, the one that cheated on you, or, X, Y, and Z thing. And our alarm bells go off in our head and we're like, oh shit, like trauma's coming. And so we start to get defensive, we entrench, and we get worried, and we almost become enemies with our partner because we're trying to avoid our root fear. Well, anyway, what tends to happen is that things get really tense, and it could be literally over anything. It could be over something as dumb as, did you take out the trash or not? Because the underlying reasons are more deep, right? And triggering the fears. But at the surface level, it's about taking out the trash. So as things get intense, you start worrying about just how to meet your own needs instead of trying to figure out how to come together and solve the problem together as a team. Because the communication style that you need in order to avoid arguments is as follows. So let's say I'm the husband, I do something dumb. I forget to take out the trash, and my wife told me, 2 or 3 times that day, and now she's coming at me like, hey, I can't believe you didn't take out the trash. Like, you never take out the trash, blah, 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 blah. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, I take out the trash like all the time. It's like not that big of a deal. Like I just forgot, which I don't do this, by the way. I always take out the trash. But rather than say what I'm thinking and like kind of interrupt her and be like, hey, I took out the trash, whatever time, as if those facts would somehow like quell the argument. They're not. It's just going to make it worse. So instead of defending myself in that case, what I need to do is repeat back everything she said to me, okay, and then confirm understanding. Rather than saying, hey, like I'm about to take out the trash right now, instead what I could do is say, okay, so it sounds like because you told me earlier this morning and this afternoon and tonight, and I still didn't do it, you're frustrated because it seems like I don't keep my word and that you can't trust me because I didn't take out the trash when you reminded me 3 times. Then I have to be like, is that right? And she might be like, yes, that's exactly how I feel because I did tell you this morning, I did tell you this afternoon, and I told you tonight, and you still didn't do it, and I just don't feel like I can trust what you say. Now, keep in mind, as I'm hearing all this, it's going to feel like an attack to me, right? Because she's like the narrative of the situation sounds like, hey, you're kind of a piece of shit, bro, right? And so rather than get defensive about it, that's how it's hitting my nervous system, I have to stop what I'm doing. Okay, be the bigger person, listen to everything she says, even repeat it back, even if I disagree with the narrative, okay, and then confirm her understanding or confirm that I understand what she told me. Now, it's not until she says, yes, that's how I feel, that you get to talk. Okay, and I'm saying she, this could be man or woman. And even after you repeat it back and you confirm understanding, they might even go into a second round of like why they feel that way. And then you listen one more time. And keep in mind, this whole time you haven't even said your side yet. You're just listening to what even feels like an attack. You're trying to chill yourself out. And then you're listening to everything they say. And then you repeat it back and you get that confirmation of understanding for the second time. Now, only once that's happened do you then get to say your side, because until you can confirm that you understand what she said or what they said and that you get it too and that you understand their side of it, it's not enough to just say, hey, yeah, I understand, let me talk now. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be patient, listen to everything, actually listen, take it in, process, repeat it back, confirm understanding, and then you get to talk. Because normally what happens with an argument is that both people are vying for stage time at the same time, and there's only one stage. There's only one podium on the stage. Okay, and so if you're both vying for stage time to feel heard and understood at the same time, nobody gets anywhere, and you just get more pissed off and more pissed off and more pissed off. So try using this method from now on where, when you get into a tense moment, and understand that the underlying triggers of it all is that you each have root fears that are getting triggered by one particular issue that's exacerbating each of your fears. Okay, or maybe it's some kind of, I don't know, there's deeper roots to it, okay? The point is, when that happens, take a step back, listen to them expressing their concerns, you repeat it back, you might have to do it once or twice, and then finally you get to talk after that. Without this, you cannot resolve arguments, and what's going to tend to happen is that you guys are going to have your recurring issues, you're going to have your little trigger point issues, and you're going to tend to sweep them under the rug, right? And the more shit that you sweep under the rug, you are going to create resentment. And now what starts to happen is that the littlest things around the house, or the littlest things in a relationship, they just become mountains that you they become shit that you just can't get over and shit that you argue about all the time because you never took the time to actually squash the issue. And men, when you're in an argument with women, and this video is for everybody, but particularly for men, you understand that you're not actually done with the argument. And I guess this could go towards conflict avoiders as well, because in any relationship you have conflict approacher and conflict avoider. But for men or conflict avoiders, you're not done in that conversation until you hear that sigh of relief from the woman or from your partner. If after you've confirmed understanding and you've repeated it back and you both talked it out and you both feel heard and understood, but yet like you can kind of see in your partner's eyes like they're still not all over it all the way, then you have to be like, okay, so what else about this are you thinking or feeling? If they're a good partner, they're going to tell you. They're going to feel safe enough to tell you. If you create that safe enough environment, right, you got to build up that trust first. But then they're going to let out the rest of it, because once you solve one issue, they're going to be thinking about the next one, right? And then you're going to have to go through the whole process over again to get that thing solved. But once you take the time to do that, right, it might even take a couple volleys of all this. Then at the end, you're going to hear a sigh of relief from your partner. It's like, oh, man, I'm so glad that we got this figured out. And now there's nothing left to sweep under the rug. And now you have one less thing that's going to cause resentment and a future argument over, because you took the time. Sometimes this takes hours. You took the time to have that discussion. Now, if you're in a relationship and you're having a lot of issues with your partner, or maybe you've broken up over these things and you want to figure out how to get your ex back or how to proceed into a relationship in the future, click my profile picture right here. Click this link down here. Get in touch with me, and I'll give you some advice about your exact situation.